Okay guys, in this video we're going to be showing how to take the power steering pump off on a 2003 through 2007 Honda Accord V6 motor. We did take some of the parts off the front end, the hood, the fender. The car has been already dismantled a little bit. For the benefit of the tape, we just did that so we can get a better visual for you guys. So let's get right to it. Okay, so these are the tools we're going to be using. The size 14 wrench for the power steering pump tensioner. And this is just a size 17 wrench. You don't necessarily need to use a size 17, but I'm just using it for this video. During the tensioner, you're gonna have a little trouble taking the thing off, the tensioner bolt off. You're not really going to take the bolt off, but you're going to have to relieve the pressure. And what you're going to have to do is, if your wrench isn't long enough, or if you don't have enough leverage, you can connect the two screwdrivers like this to make it easier for you, and you can put some pressure up here on the top to make it easier for you. So these are the two wrenches I'm going to use for that part. And you can have a size 12 millimeter wrench for just taking off the two bolts for the power steering pump. You can use either a gear wrench or just a regular wrench, whatever is easier for you. A gear wrench might do the job a little quicker. Here's a size 10 millimeter socket for on the top, the two bolts for the power steering line, the main power steering line. Size 10 millimeter socket here. Size 12 right here, just for anything that you need. And here's a deep socket, size 12 socket. An extension is always good. You can get a longer one or shorter one. This is about the size I used this is the size I'm going to use during this video. You could use a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, but you'll get the idea of how long you need an extension for. And just a normal 1/4 inch ratchet here. And here's the needle nose pliers that you're going to be using to take the hose clamp off on the top for the power steering pump. A little fluid might come out, just beware of that. Have a towel ready for you. So these are the tools. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tools that I'm going to be using during this video. I'm going to be taking the tensioner belt off of the power steering pump and the tensioner belt. I'm going to use a size 14 wrench here, and just another wrench. Mine I'm using a size 17, but you don't have to use a size 17. I'm just doing this to get more leverage. It's a little trick I learned working on cars. So you get the one screwdriver and you put the other screwdriver in like this, right, just to get it longer, and you can get leverage like this when you put it on the bolt here. So I'm going to show you, if you want to get a close-up over here on the tensioner bolt. The bolt right here is the size 14, and you do actually, since this is a reverse thread bolt, you don't move it to the right to loosen it, but you move it to the left because it's a tension bolt. So you can put the wrench like this, put your finger here so you don't pop it off on accident. And this is pretty hard. You gotta put some pressure here. You can put your hand up here and release the belt and move it out of the way, and you can let go of the tension here. It's pretty hard too. It's pretty strong. You need some strength there, some muscle. And this next tool that we're going to use to take this top hose off right here, you guys see this hose with this clamp right here? We're going to be using this needle nose pliers here to get the clamp off over here. If you guys can see that. And then you can kind of just put your hand on here and twist it. There is a good chance fluid will come out of here because it is connected to the power steering bottle. You just pull it off and you might have a little leakage here, but I'm going to put the hose to the side and do the best I can so it doesn't leak there. And I'm going to start with the two bolts up here on top. This is the main power steering pressure line. The two bolts, it's a size 10 millimeter. You can see here, size 10 millimeter. And here's the extension I'm going to use, not that long, but perfect size for this. I'm going to connect it onto the extension Put it on the ratchet, and this is lefty loosey, so you put it on there and you turn the bolt to the left for the bolt to come out. And sometimes I take the ratchet off and I just use my hand. Makes it a little easier to just wiggle it out. And you can, here's the size 10 bolt here. It's pretty long, but this is what they use. I put it right there on the engine cover. So there's 2 bolts on top. I'm gonna just take the second one off. Take this out once I get it loose. And I'm gonna twist it off here. And after that, I'm going to take the hose off. You don't really need a screwdriver or anything, but you can just put your hand right here and wiggle it up and down, and it will pop off. And you might get a little leak on the power steering or anywhere, but this doesn't really leak that much. It's just right when you pop it off because of the pressure that it's had before. I'm going to put it over here on the side. Okay, so this is the bolt I'm going to take off next. Right here you can see it, it's right on top. There's 2 bolts left to take the power steering pump off. You can see there's one down up here and there's one down here underneath. I'm gonna show you that one next from a different angle. So I'm gonna use this size 12 millimeter wrench here, just a basic gear wrench to take the top bolt off. And this is a left. This bolt comes off left. If you move it to the right, you tighten the bolt, but if you move it to the left, you loosen it. So here it is. You can put some arm into it, get the bolt out. And if you want to, when you get it loose, you can get your hand in there and get the bolt out just with your hand. If you can see what I'm doing here, it's pretty simple. You can get the bolt out. I'll show you the bolt, how long it is. It's not really that long, but it does require some time here. There we go. Here's the bolt. Right here, size 12. And you put this in here like this. I'm gonna put it over here on the side. Okay, so here's the bolt on the bottom down here. If you can see it, it's a little dirty back here because just over time engines, they do get dirty. But here's the bolt right here. If you can see it, it's the same size 12 bolt. I'm gonna stick my ratchet in there with the size 12 socket, and I'm gonna release it here. Here we go. Not too bad. And whenever you have the top bolt loose already, you start loosening the bottom bolt, it will kind of flop over. So you can put your hand up here so you can put some pressure so it just stays up. Because of this hole right here, it can, when you tilt it over, you might leak on your hand. So just for safety purposes, or if you don't want to get oily, you might get oily anyway, but keep yourself clean. There we go. And you can just leave the bolt in there and just pull up on it, so you don't have to worry about taking the bolt out until you get it up out in the air. So here's the power steering pump here. Take a look at it. 2 bolts down here, the hose that went up here, and the main power steering line that went up on top here with the 2 size 10 millimeter bolts. And this is the power steering pump. All right, assuming if you have your new pump already, we're gonna put it back in now. So we're gonna get that size 12 millimeter bolt that was at the bottom, and we're gonna put it down here so we can just not have a problem later. And you can come down here if you wanna get closer. And we're gonna start with the bottom bolt, put it down here, and you can just hand thread it in there so you can get the spot, get it in its spot. You can just hand thread it in, and you can start with the second bolt. The first bolt and the second bolt, they were the same size, so it doesn't really matter if you mix them up. But this top one, hand thread this one in too.